Hi, I'm Dominic. I'm the CEO at Anoxico. I want to chat to you briefly about the end of bank codes in South Africa. Bank codes were started way before my time. In the 1970s approximately, the banks had shareholdings in a very large credit insurer in South Africa called Credit Guarantee. They were the main shareholders and needed a way to help the trade credit insurance market to grow. So initially, bank codes were developed specifically to support trade credit insurance. But over time, the banks have sold out their shareholding in the insurers and they are no longer having a financial incentive to support bank codes. In fact, it has some negative incentive for them. The regulatory landscape has also significantly shifted recently with the introduction of the Protection of Personal Information Act, POPIA for short. It requires explicit and specific consent, meaning that every single bank code must have a consent associated with it for that particular credit limit. Quite difficult to do. You cannot use old credit applications, so you need to make sure that you get every single customer of yours to sign by an authorized person those credit applications so that you can request bank codes going forward. The Credit Bureau also cannot request bank codes without this consent, so it is impossible for us to do some of our work on reviews unless we continue to go back and get this consent. And finally, audits are being conducted, and there are severe penalties under POPIA. This is the reason why many of the banks have decided to stop or change and curtail this process. And it's making it all very slow. Even if you can get a bank code, it is slow, and in many cases, you cannot at all. Our stance as Anoxico on bank codes is that the biggest problem is not understood by the buyers. So they are applying for credit, and they are in many cases being asked to give consent now for something which they don't understand, and then they're not giving that consent. But there's more problems that are inherent anyway in bank codes. They're only relevant for 24 hours. It's a very small snapshot. It gives you limited predictive power for the future payment behavior. Credit insurers are now also unable to obtain these because now the credit insurers are not part of that consent process. It's very challenging for them to get the consent, and so at the moment, credit insurers are stopped using bank codes altogether. There's also limited financial incentives for the bank to continue to provide this. They don't make money from it. And so we believe the banks will all eventually stop providing the service. Their volumes have decreased. It is not a great product for them. And so it does seem like the future of bank codes is in question there. May continue in some form, but we think there is a faster, more predictive alternative. And that is still essentially using the bank statement. So the bank statement has in it a huge amount of information that allows you to focus on the capacity and the headroom for this customer to pay. We're able to analyze bank statements, take them on board, and within 30 minutes, turn around that and provide an analysis on that. We look at things like residual cash flow, how much capacity is available, what's the timing of payments, what's the relevant payment size, and many other factors that enable us to provide a really quick assessment. So the lesson, 30 minutes, using our overall credit application process and the decision engine, you can get an answer based on bank statements. It replaces the typical 24 hours or 48 hours you had to wait for a bank code with far more predictive power and far more capabilities. So we'd love to talk to you about it. Let us know. Contact us. Thanks very much.